Stephanie here with creatingtheheart.weeby.com, and today is day 8 of the National Craft Month, and today's video is drawing and lining in pen. So I'm going to go ahead and set up my desk, and then I'll be right with you. Okay, so here I've got my 8.5 by 11 copy paper. I'm just going to use it for today, and then I've got a 2H sketching pencil. I'm going to do it landscape version. And then I'm going to go ahead and start drawing. The first thing I want to draw here is the walls for my building. I do really light strokes so that if I need to erase it, I can. And then speaking of erasing, I've already got to erase. And all I'm going to do to use for an eraser is my kneaded eraser. I like it a whole lot. It cleans up the erasing pencil marks very well. And I'm doming it the bottom, making it kind of roundish. Then about middle ways down, we can go over again, start again. And we'll make another tower. Now my lines ain't straight right now because I'm just basically sketching out the frame of it. I have not drawn. It's probably been a week or two since I've actually drawed. And I'm actually glad I'm doing this because I was looking on my channel this morning and I realized I did not have not one single art drawing or painting on my channel, so I need to do some more of those videos. Okay, so here you'll see that I've got this straight line across here. I'm going to erase that now and sketch out more of a bottom half of a diamond effect, because it's not going to be, or well, I'll do the top half of a diamond. This is going to be kind of like the edge view of a building. And like I said, my lines is crooked right now. I'm just using it as a sketch. We'll go back in later and fix it in. So here all I'm doing right now is adding a half of the circle tower on the corner of the building. I'm kind of building a castle, I guess you can say. So like I said, just sketching it out and all. Nothing too dramatic or serious right now. I'm going ahead and starting on the sides of my building. It's one reason why I like the 2H pencil, because it's light enough to where I don't have to bear down on it to make a sketch, and it's easy to erase for whenever I make a mistake and I just need to erase it. So alright. So I'm going to show you now. This is my sketch of the frame. Let's get the light to show. Frame of the thing, and as you can see, my lines is not straight and stuff. That's just for my go-to reference to how the castle is going to be kind of shaped. So now I'm going to go ahead now and start fixing those lines and putting in the actual darker lines to make the details. So I'll go ahead here and put you forward so you can see. Sorry about the movement, just trying to get you fixed here. Okay, so I'm going to use a small ruler here to help line up the lines to make them more straight. Going to erase the first line that I made, as well as the bottom part of the curve. I'm needing my eraser here so it's a little bit more firm. There we go. It's hard to hold on to it when it's a big flat thing like that. Now I'm going to work on the bottom curve. I don't want a dramatic curve. I just want enough to make it look like a curve. As well as I'm going to fix the top part. Now, unless you want to draw on top of the part of the building to make it where you can see the roof, I guess you could say, you want to draw this part here going upward a little bit. Okay. Now here I'm going to make my line for the straight across part of the building. And as you see, I'm kind of pushing down just a little bit this more time to make the lines more darker, so we can actually see them. So I know which ones is which. I know which ones is the ones that I'm making now and the ones that I didn't have made. And then I just go through and use my eraser to erase them. I'm going to go ahead now and get out my regular eraser, just a little white eraser, to get rid of this darker spot here that I made. Now fixing with the tower here. I use my reference for the darker lines that I made. I don't want to use the reference as the building because I'd have to erase the darker lines, which means it could show through the picture still. So I just use my my new lines to go by now, but I use my old lines as references to how tall or how wide I want something to be. So another thing about the kneaded eraser that I like, when you're doing this kind of a drawing here, which we ain't got to yet, once I get it drawn, I use a black pen to go over some of the lines and the details. And you can use a kneaded eraser if you want to erase some of the pencils beside of it or behind it, and it will not smear the ink. So it's one of the reasons why I love using the kneaded eraser for. Okay, so going with that one, I'm going to now go with my other one, but I'm not going to go all the way down with this one. I'm going to stop about halfway right here before it meets the tower, so that I can fix this tower without having to go on the dark line and erase it. Go ahead now and do my other side of my dark line, my new line. I'm going to erase my old line. As well as make my new line for the bottom. I'm just going up to the side of the building, of the tower, because I don't want to go into the tower. Now I'm going to take my kneaded eraser and erase this whole tower. I'm not going to press down on it. I'm just going to remove the light part of it. That way I can still use it for a reference, but I can fix it up and reshape it and all that good stuff. So I'm pressing down a little hard now because these lines are a little bit darker than what I intended them to be. Okay, so now, once again, we're going to make the lines using our new lines going up to where we want it to be at, as well as on this one here. Dome the top part of it in. or out, I should say, not in, out. Dome the bottom part of it out. And now I'm just going to make my finish line down to the tower. Okay. Now I'm going to work on the side here, where the side of the castle is going in and stuff. I'm going to make my new line of the diagonal top of the wall from the new line to the old line, as well as the bottom matching the corner going out. I'm going to make my new line for the back wall that meets with the tower. I'm going to go ahead and make my side wall for the tower as well. And now I'm going to dome. Well, let me erase this part here first. And don't worry about if it's not completely clean, because we're going to be sketching over it and stuff more later to where it will be. So, dome the top of the tower and dome the bottom of the tower. Okay, so now we have the base of the castle. Go ahead now and show you the details that we're going to do. On the two walls here, you're going to do the castle thing where it goes up, over, down, like you're up there. So how I do it, I take a ruler, get it turned around here. Mark how high I want it up, evenly, if you can see here. Evenly, and then every so often I make a line starting with the wall. You always want to start with the wall and end with the wall. So over, 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 and over. There you go. Now all you gotta do now is use your ruler and out of each line make a straight line down. This is kind of not really cartoonish, but it's going to be kind of storybook kind of castle. Not a realistic castle. I don't do a whole lot of realistic. The only thing I do realistic of is still life. I love doing still life drawings and landscape drawings. I don't do a lot of people drawings. Just not really my thing. And so I just never do it. So now we're going to do the same thing for the side wall over here. Starting with the wall. And you're going to make these right here smaller and closer together, because it's distance. It's from the background, not the foreground. This is the background, this is the foreground. Okay, so. And if you would notice, I'll show you really closely here in a second. The side wall was not even with the top wall, because in castles you have different layers and all this kind of stuff with all that stuff. So what I'm talking about is, if you'll see here, this line here does not go straight over with this one here. So that's the reason why I was saying that. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to erase these markings. There we go. Okay. I'm going to add another box in here, another tower on here. So, just using my ruler, going in here, and going in there. And I'm going to connect it. And of course, fix this line here. It didn't go up all the way. And I'm going to also make another one on the side here. Not as tall as that one, but just tall enough to match it. And I'm going to dome it on top, doming it out on top, and going into that side wall. Doing the same thing for this one here, doming it and going into that side wall. And then for this wall here, the one that sticks up, I'm going to do the same thing that I'm going to be doing with the top of the towers. and I will be showing you that in a second. But let me go ahead now and show you what I'm going to do with the front of the space here. This is all nothing but white space here. Right here, it's nothing but white space. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what I'm going to do with it. Okay, so I'm going to use my ruler and go up pretty wide, not a whole lot, but just pretty wide. And you want to make it wide. And then let me see if I can get these here evened. And then we're going to dome it. Well, actually, we're going to find the middle point and dome it. Make a point to dome it that way, so it'll be more perfect. And then what we're going to do now is I'm going to make a line straight across to make it look like boards. On this piece up here, I'm going to draw a border, inside border around the edge of it. And then I'm going to draw kind of like a window, half of a sun window inside of it. Like that. Drawing some sketchy lines, not to be perfect lines, it goes diagonally out. Then we're going to make straighter lines, just a little bit of one. And then again, light sketchy lines on off to the page. Then we're going to kind of make dark lines to end them right there with. Continuing that line there that we are doing with it, just down just a little bit. Make it a little kind of a rough, bumpy, like a cliff side, all the way off the page. This side here we're going to do the same thing, except maybe make it off to the side of the castle and go like off into the distance. So let me show you here what we got. We've got the door, the gate that comes down. We've got the little bridge, the cliff side that we're going to make the river in, and the cliff side that goes into a distance that we're going to make the river on that side. Okay, so next thing I'm going to show you how to do real fast before we go into the details about making the river and stuff is topping off the square towers here. Not the round ones, but the square one. What you're going to do is you're going to use your ruler, the middle line, you're going to go straight up a little bit. Then you're going to make this point into the second line and make it go down just a little bit. Not much, just a little bit. Do the same thing for the other side. Now we're going to connect the lines together. So then going to use my eraser and erase the old line that was inside. And I'm going to do the same thing for the top one. However, here it's more kind of like a triangle because it's not a 3D shaped one. So it's just going to be more of a triangle. You're going to slack it off a little bit. But I'll use my ruler here. And he'll probably go to the top of the page because it's a tall tower. And then you're going to match those lines at the end as well. And erase the inside old line. Okay. Now, what we're going to do with the circled towers is the same thing triangle, but we have to cone them. So it's going to be kind of hard. So, in half of the tower, you go up so far, whichever you want the tower top to be. Mark your dot. Line hit with the corner. Go down. Line hit with the corner. And go down past it a little bit. Then all you got to do is dome the bottom of it. And I'll erase the other one in a minute. So, the old line. Find you a spot. Go down. Go down. And then dome it. So it kind of looks like a pizza slice, but that's the easiest way I do it. So I was going to do an actual landscape picture, but I've run out of time to do it, so I just went ahead and done a simple one like this. However, I'm going to promise myself, and whether this is the National Craft Month, to make time for yourself, it's a perfect promise to start off with, to make more time to do drawings and artistic videos like this right here, so that I can post them on my channel. Okay, so now I'm going to do is these little top ones here. I'm just going to sketch the top of these though, just because they're so little. And you can, when you get done, instead of doing pen, you can also do coloring pencil, but I'm going to do pen. Okay, so I'm going to erase the inside of the big ones, but these little ones here, I'm not, because I want to color those in with my shading pencil in a minute. Okay. Let's go ahead and start with the details. I'm going to start drawing on windows. And then you also want to start on drawing little bricks here and there. You know, not a whole lot, just enough to, you know, show that it's got detail with bricks. All I'm doing is just adding bricks, detail, and stuff. So I'll go ahead and let you see what the detail part looks like. Just adding bricks like this and stuff, and then you add the windows and make sure that you put the definition on the right side, where if it's the front it's going to be on this side, if it's the left it's going to be on that side. And I'll go ahead and finish putting the bricks and windows in, and then we'll be right back. Okay, so I now have the details of the windows and the blocks put on. I'm going to now do the roof details, and all you want to do is kind of like fishtail. Do like a fishtail, half and half, half and half, and then you want to go I think it's better to do it bumpy, so I turn mine upside down to do mine. Make sure you get them bigger as they go down. Make sure the lines touch the bumps, because if not, he'll just kind of look like waviness. You're going to do the same thing on the triangle roofs as well. I mean, they don't have to be perfect, just enough to where they're, you know, bumpy and everything. Now the triangle roof that is two-sided, you got to do one for each side, so that's going to be kind of tougher to do, but we'll do it. So I'll go ahead and finish this one here up, and then I'll be back. Okay, so this right here is kind of what they look like. Not the best thing in the world, but it'll be okay. So, because they do look a little rough, I apologize about that. I'm going to use a tortilla of a number 5, a really wide one. And for the big roast, I'm going to blend it in. This is not the shading technique that I was telling you about. This right here is just to help give it some definition and some color and blend those lines in a whole lot more together. And this, like I said, I wish I had more time and I could have done the landscape one that I was wanting to do, but I've just run out of time, so I'll just go ahead and do this one here, show you. I'm going to go ahead and use this one here as well for the big large triangle one. Okay, so getting back to this, I went ahead and I got the details all done, so now I'm going to start with the shading, as we've been doing with the lines and stuff. I'm using a number 2 tortilla, and I'm just going to blend it in with the rest of the lines that we made on it, and help soften the lines, and it gives it more color as well. I'm working on my last tower. I'm going to switch edges so that it'll blend a little better. Okay, now I'm going to take this General's Layout Extra Black. It's number 555 pencil. And I'm going to use it with the smaller towers that's up here that we done earlier. So I said that we was going to color those in. So here, that's all I'm doing is taking my pencil to color them in. And then I'm going to take my tortilla number 2 as well and blend it in, keeping its shape of the cone kind of like shape, so you want to keep it. And then I'm just going to take my tortilla that's left on it and kind of blend on going down off the roof a little bit underneath the edge lines, so it gives it more of a little bit of an extra shadow effect. You don't need a whole lot of shadow on them, but just a little bit. And if you need to make the lines to help spread it a little bit more, just make a little line on it fast and blend it down. And I'm doing this right here for all over the walls to help give it that shadow effect and stuff. Like that there. Now I'm going to take my pencil now and kind of just freehand some shadows on the little towers that we done, the little castle walls. Not a whole lot, but just a little bit. As well, the next thing we want to do is we want to blend in the inside of the windows of the 3D effect that we made. You want to just barely color it in a little bit. And then you can use your blending tool to help blend it down so the lines won't be so into it. And then just now we're going to use a tortilla to help blend that in a little bit more, to give it some shading and coloring. Now I'm going to take my tortilla and blend in the door. The lines were done on here to help give here a little bit more shading. I'm actually going to get a bigger tortilla. I'm going to use the number 4 tortilla here. And let me kind of sketch a little black on it a little bit here. I'm just using my black pencil here to help shade it in a little bit, color it in. Now I'm going to take my pencil and redarken them lines. Using a 4H pencil to redarken them lines. I'm just using my number 4 tortilla again to blend up here a little bit some of the detail. Using my number 2 tortilla to blend in some of the bricks around the edges and stuff. And you can blend outside the bricks of them. Just help to blend it in. And you don't have to do every one of them, just enough to help give it that extra effect of shadowing and stuff. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and use my 2H pencil to start the details of the bridge.
You ain't gonna do nothing while he's got learning. What? You ain't gonna do nothing. Quit!
What?
You left that cord hanging down.
Okay, so next thing I'm going to show you how to do real fast, before we go into the details about making the river and stuff, is topping off the square towers here. Not the round ones, but the square one. What you're going to do is you're going to use your ruler, the middle line, you're going to go straight up a little bit. Then you're going to make this point into the second line, and make it go down just a little bit. Not much, just a little bit. Do the same thing for the other side. Now we're going to connect the lines together. So I'm going to use my eraser and erase the old line that was inside. And I'm going to do the same thing for the top one. However, here it's more kind of like a triangle because it's not a 3D shaped one. So it's just going to be more of a triangle. You're going to slack it off a little bit. But I'll use my ruler here. And he'll probably go to the top of the page because it's a tall tower. And then you're going to match those lines at the end as well. and erase the inside old line. Okay. Now, what we're going to do with the circled towers is do the same thing triangle, but we have to cone them, so it's going to be kind of hard. So, in half of the tower, you go up so far, whichever you want the tower top to be, mark your dot, line hit with the corner, go down, line hit with the corner, and go down past it a little bit. Then all you got to do is dome the bottom of it, and I'll erase the other one in a minute. So the old line, find you a spot, go down, and then dome it. So it kind of looks like a pizza slice, but that's the easiest way I do it. So I was going to do an actual landscape picture, but I've run out of time to do it, so I just went ahead and done a simple one like this. However, I'm going to promise myself, and whether this is the National Craft Month, to make time for yourself, it's a perfect promise to start off with, to make more time to do drawings and artistic videos like this right here, so that I can post them on my channel. Okay, so now I'm going to do is these little top ones here. I'm just going to sketch the top of these though, just because they're so little. And you can, when you get done, instead of doing pen, you can also do coloring pencil, but I'm going to do pen. Okay, so I'm going to erase the inside of the big ones, but these little ones here, I'm not, because I want to color those in with my shading pencil in a minute. Okay. Let's go ahead and start with the details. I'm going to start drawing on windows. And then you also want to start on drawing little bricks here and there. You know, not a whole lot, just enough to, you know, show that it's got detail with bricks. All I'm doing is just adding bricks, detail, and stuff. So I'll go ahead and let you see what the detail part looks like. Just adding bricks like this and stuff, and then you add the windows. And make sure that you put the definition on the right side. Where if it's the front, it's going to be on this side. If it's the left, it's going to be on that side. And I'll go ahead and finish putting the bricks and windows in, and then we'll be right back.